Let's go live to Philadelphia. I see Judge Raleigh about to begin a new case. This one we're calling Up in Smoke, and it involves a used car dealer who says her reputation was wrecked after a fiery Facebook review.
Case 1001, Drury versus Pugsley.
And so I read the petition and looked at some of the documents that you filed. You are Ms. Drury, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you are suing Ms. Pugsley for $2,500 for defamation of character and slander.
Yes,
Are you ready to proceed tonight?
Yes, sir.
And I don't see a countersuit, but you're ready to tell me your side of the story, right?
Yes.
So let's start with you. Why did you bring this cause of action?
I brought this here because Ms. Queen Petty decided that she can do defamation of character and slander towards me.
So let's start it right at the
business.
beginning. How did you meet? How do you know her?
I don't know her. This is actually my
What do you
first
do
time.
for a living?
I sell cars.
So this happened through a car sales that you did with her, right?
Correct.
Okay. So what car was involved?
2001 Acura TL. This
Okay,
one
and
right
after
here.
the car was sold, there were some problems with the car, right?
Correct. It
Okay,
was
so
stated
let me
when
just
she bought
ask
the
you
vehicle.
this. When you get cars to sell on your lot, how do you get them? Where do they come from?
They come from the auction.
Okay, and then do you have some type of process that your company goes through to do a car inspection or something before they go for sale?
Well, first we do the pre-inspection at the auction. They
Okay.
let us know, what scale does it range. If it's a scale 2 and higher, that means it's good. 2 and lower, that
So
means it's
there
bad.
is a process that you go through to run through the car
Correct.
to see what condition it's in.
Yes.
Okay, and so ultimately, did you sell Miss Pugsley a car?
Yes, I
What'd you
did.
sell her?
2001 Acura TL.
And how much?
For, dang, I forgot. 2000, sorry.
Okay.
No, it was more than that.
How much would you say it was? If it wasn't 2,000, how much was it?
It was 2,100 plus an additional 350 for the title.
Okay. So 2,100 bucks for sale of the car, and
That
then there was
she
some
didn't
tax and
pay.
stuff. Okay.
And I didn't pay it because the car broke down within 3 days.
It doesn't matter. A contract is a contract.
So the car was sold. Obviously, it broke down. There were some
Yes.
issues. Did you pay her in full?
No.
No, I only paid her the 2,100.
Okay.
So therefore, the car is still.
So how long? Hold on a
But
second.
am I wrong? Within
How long
30
did you
days
have
if
this
your
car
car broke
before it
down?
broke
Doesn't
down?
Supposed to get a
matter.
refund?
A contract is
Aren't
a
you supposed to get a
contract.
refund?
A
I don't
contract
owe
is
this
a
queen of selling
contract.
bad cars anything.
You owe me
I have the right of
because
freedom of
you
speech.
signed
I have
as
the
it.
right of freedom of speech.
Don't mean
I have
you
the
can
right
lie.
of
Okay, so
freedom of
hold on a
speech.
minute, hold
And
on,
I
hold
did
on.
not slander you, love. I did not slander you.
Hold
I
on.
did not slander you.
So
Like, what?
it's obvious that you two talked before you came to court, right?
No.
That didn't work for you. So why do you think it's going to work for you tonight just to talk over each other?
Because black and white. Black and white is solid.
So
Black
let's-
and white leads.
So,
and
so
it's king.
let's go here. So she buys the car, $2,000. The car breaks down after how many days?
3 days. I have the video to prove it.
Okay. Now, on the contract, when you bought this car, did you buy it as is?
Yes, I did.
You bought the car as is.
So we could
Hold on a
read
second.
as is.
Hold on.
First of all,
One
stop.
second.
Let's read as
Stop,
is.
because
Hold on
the
a
person
second.
that was
What does the
supposed to be your
term
brother,
as is?
the person
What
that was
does the
supposed to be your
term
brother
as is?
already put the
You're
signature
19
down.
years
Already,
old.
I'm 18 years old, correct?
Okay,
and you
even
tried to get
better.
over on
So
me.
All right,
You
as
all
sold
right,
me a
that's
little
enough.
car and told me I wasn't getting
Stop.
anything back for it.
Stop.
Come on.
How can I hear your
Run
case
the
if you're
facts.
going to just yell at each other?
Run the facts.
Okay? I promise to hear from you.
Okay.
So you buy the car for $2,100. What happens to it?
The car breaks down 3 days. It catches on fire.
Where's
while
the
I'm
car
on the road.
now?
She
How
told
does the car
me,
break
Hold it,
down?
hold it.
this living lady told me to leave the car.
I asked you one question. Where's the car now?
She left it on the street for it to get towed.
So you don't have a car.
No, I don't have a car.
And you don't have $2,100.
And I don't have my money neither.
Okay. Now, why are you suing her?
I'm suing her because she told Facebook that I robbed her. I'm holding her car hostage and her money
That's
hostage.
technically stealing.
Hey, hold on a minute. Hold on. I'm going to tell you
How?
again.
How? When she
so,
released the car per the evidence
so
I
you're
submitted.
suing her for the Facebook posts that were made for
Correct. That
$2,500.
Facebook post reached 169 shares
Yes, it
and
did.
maybe about 330 comments.
And how did that damage you?
That damaged
Yes,
me
it did.
because per person, each person on Facebook has a minimum about 2,000 followers.
Okay,
So
thank you.
109, you do the math.
That's
there.
enough. That's enough. Hold on right there. Give me a minute. Let me look at this.
All right. Judge is looking over some of the evidence right now. This is a defamation case, but the plaintiff's saying it's all about the contract. It's all about the contract.
Yeah, well, the defamation comes from the alleged post that hurt her reputation, but it's only about the person. She used plural. In other words, she says, you have damaged the car of lots of people. Well, you can't speak for lots of people. You can only give your opinion as to what she did to your car. She's allowed to say she sold me a bad car. She could put that on.
All right, this is the car that is the focus of this whole controversy in our case, Up in Smoke. You see the smoke coming out of it. She just bought it 3 days beforehand, but she wrote a bad review, a fiery review on Facebook. Now she's being sued for defamation. Let's go back to Philadelphia, where we're live with Judge Raleigh and the case we're calling Up in Smoke.
How did you calculate your damages from these Facebook posts?
Well, the damages, how I calculate, I lost business.
Well, you're suing for $2,500. So how
Correct.
do you know that the Facebook post cost you $2,500?
It cost me more than that.
Well, so tell me how you calculated this.
Well, I calculated by the post how much it reached. So, again, 169 shares with 330 more comments. You know, it was more comments, but I stopped checking on the post. But it reached a lot of comments and a lot of shares.
But how do you know that you lost money?
When I clicked
I mean,
on
people
each share,
can talk.
Correct.
Freedom
correct.
of speech, right? They can say whatever they want.
Correct, but when you
we can't
slander-
harm somebody by that.
Absolutely.
So how do you prove to the court that you were harmed?
Each person that I clicked on that shared the post, they had a minimum of 2,000 followers. That's where I got my number
Well, how
from.
do you know everybody that looked at that post was going to buy a car from you?
Because they said, oh, don't go to this girl. Stop going to this girl.
Got
you
it.
know, don't go
Got
to
it.
her. Go to somebody else.
Give me a minute. I'll be right back to you. Hold that thought.
Okay.
So I want to get back to you. So you had this car. You only had it for, what did you say, 3 days?
Yes, it broke
And,
down.
and
for
it
3
broke.
days.
What happened when it broke down? Tell me
My
about
car
that.
caught fire. The locks on the
fire.
Objection,
Yes,
y'all.
and I even have
That
the
is a
proof.
lie.
You can see it in the video. Not
She
only
had the
that,
car
Hold
I
on.
have.
She went
Hold
back
on.
and forth
I
to
purchased
work.
the car on the 22nd. The
How
car
you
went
go
down on
back
the
to
Why
25th.
don't you
to
want to
work?
listen to me?
You're right, Your Honor.
Thank you. Just listen to me.
Okay.
I'm talking to her. Continue.
I purchased this car April 22nd. My car went down April 25th. How many days away is that?
Okay. And
Okay.
So, and you've been without a car ever since?
Yes.
But you
Objection.
admit that you bought this car as is.
Yes.
One question for you. You had time. Why didn't you take it to your own mechanic to look at?
When I purchased the car and
No, before you purchased the car.
Before I purchased the car, she told me that this car had no significant problems, that it was a good running car. It was her car.
Objection.
So,
She
hold
told
on.
me it was her car before I purchased it, and she had driven it.
Objection.
So I believed
Hold
her,
on.
being the fact
No
that this
objection.
was my first car.
So let me ask you this. Before you bought the car, you didn't take it to your own mechanic to look at because you trusted what she said,
No,
right?
I wasn't allowed to take the car to my mechanic before purchasing it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll be right back.
All right, folks, our first couple of objections of the night from the litigants. Judge Vonda chomping at the bit right now to get in on this one. What do you think?
As is means that the seller is not warranting it. Caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. Basically, what it says is that it limits your recovery because you have a responsibility to discover a defect based on investigation and inspection. That's a problem. You got to be careful doing that. As is the bite of death.
But as we keep saying, warranty of mercantility means that it is expected to be available for use for the purchase intended. And so 3 days, we don't know if it was available for use at all, if in 3 days it went down.
That's why it's so wonderful. You know, judges see a glass half empty or half full. Not all judges agree. Greg and I didn't, but guess what? We're going to see what Judge Raleigh has to say.
Okay, what we're here is we got to get back into the courtroom. Judge Raleigh, again, on the bench, trying to figure out what's going on in this car sale defamation case.
So my understanding is when you submitted this answer to this report, you had a recorded phone call that
Yes.
I've heard. And I
Yes.
understand you have a transcript of it. Is that right?
Yes, I do.
Bailiff, would you get that transcript for me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Would you read it to the court out loud?
Yes, sir. Tierra says, I got to get it cleaned up so at least somebody else could buy it. That's what we want. We want to make it pretty enough for someone else to buy it so it could be someone else's headache.
So did you make this statement on the phone call?
Yes, sir.
So what did you mean by, I want to make it cleaned up so somebody else can buy it. We want it pretty enough so someone else can buy it and it'll be their headache. What did that mean?
She asked, you know, Tiara, what can we do? You know, I need a car. What can we do? I told her, because I sold her the car as is, I initiated 3 appointments to get the car fixed. You didn't. You failed to get the car fixed. You got my parts sitting at the mechanic shop. You never went. Now the car is completely done. We're going to take it back to the auction and hope for another dealer buy the car.
So my question was, what did you actually mean by we're going to make it somebody else's headache?
It's going to rerun through the auction.
Okay.
So that was her best bet, because I was not refunding her back her money because she didn't go to the appointment. She neglected the car. Why should I give back money when you neglected the car? You didn't go to the 3 appointments. I even said, tell mommy why you didn't go. Tell mommy how my parts is sitting at the mechanic shop. All you had to do was pay for the labor.
I work
parts
7
is
days
there.
a week. How
You
am I supposed to go to your
receipts
mechanic on
there.
your timing?
You can't do that.
No.
Ladies, thank you very much. I really appreciate the time you spent in the court today giving me the information you gave me. I've considered the evidence, and you know, really, you bought a car as is. You should have taken it to a mechanic before you buy a car. If they say you can't take it to a mechanic, then you don't buy the car. But you bought a car. But here's the real thing. You didn't file a cause of action with the court. You didn't file a counterclaim. There's nothing I can do to help you. Hit the period. So we're back to you. You're the one that filed this cause of action.
Correct.
You have the burden of proof.
Correct.
This formula, all this sideways, whatever happened, where the car is, the bottom line is the formula you used to come up with your $2,500 lawsuit means nothing to me. You brought no evidence to the court whatsoever that you lost money because of the Facebook post. If you brought me one piece of shredded, a person who could have said, I was going to buy a car, and then I read this post, and now I'm not going to buy a car.
That was submitted.
But you know what? There's nothing to show the court that whatsoever. Therefore, my verdict is in favor of the defendant. Take nothing. Never underestimate a court of law. Never.
Defamation case is always difficult to prove, especially in the United States of America with freedom of speech. She didn't prove the damages, though. It was all about the damages for Judge Raleigh.
Correct, and didn't show how it hurt her profession. Particularly, once again, you can always say it as an opinion if you're the individual. But what really troubled me about this is that they conspired to sell her a defective car knowingly. You said, well, we're going to make it somebody else's headache. Yeah. You're conspiring to defraud. She should be charged with a crime.
Absolutely. That was pretty bad. That was a smoking gun here. But defamation is an exception to the freedom of speech. You have to have a published statement, which you did, but it has to cause injury. This makeshift, how she came up with these losses, it wasn't sufficient. You have to be able to satisfy those elements, and a statement must be false. But this is what I say about what she did. When you dig a ditch for your enemy to fall in it, you do, and she didn't get anything.
Well, would either of you buy a car from her?
Heck no.
I'll bring a couple of goons with me.
Oh,
a couple
no.
of mechanics
Exactly.
to check
Hey,
the
watch
overlook.
that now.
And
said
no,
mechanics.
and she's not getting charged with a crime tonight. We know that for sure. Okay.